Pinkie tries her hardest to get Cheese to laugh, producing more meme faces. And Sans, he actually helps. The episode could have easily made Sans the villain here, or at the very least, the cause of the problem. Instead, Sans has every intention of helping Cheese find his laugh again, but believes that the problem is not with Cheese himself, but more to do with the inner workings of the factory. Sans is very much a pony about results and automation, whereas Cheese is more to do with spontaneity and taking risks. The problem that Cheese was having was that things had become too safe and too comfortable for him, and his spontaneous energy got snuffed out because of the sterile environment of the factory, as well as Sans's, well, the chart says, approach. As far as Sans is concerned, the gags do work successfully, but they needed fresh ideas to reinvent themselves a little. And this would be why Pinkie Pie was asked to come. Creativity has to have something to rebel against. Also, in order for companies to survive, competition, they have to be more inventive and come up with new ideas to survive. Passion can cause you to be too close to a project, and over time it can become stale. Sort of like overwatering a plant. You know it needs water, but give it too much, it's going to drown.
Passion projects are fun, but too much can cause us to lose joy in our creations or what we do. Literally, he created an idea factory trying to push out as many new ideas to keep up with the demand of ponies around Equestria. Thus, he lost his purpose that made him happy. He's only been getting the approval of gags from Sans rather than being out there in Equestria directly seeing the happiness that creations have made at parties. Again, going back to my research in the office versus field metaphor earlier. Cheese admitting defeat and giving up on finding his laugh was the saddest moment of this whole episode. He can't smile, but he trudges on anyway because he doesn't want to waste Pinkie's time, but more sad is that he's just going on because he's got nothing else and figures he might as well do something rather than nothing, even if it is just a grind for him. Now making this quote-unquote factory of fun into a prison that will continue to break him down over the course of his life. Wow, that's depressing. I'm gonna lay down again.
This episode reminds me of the Princess Dress episode, where Rarity became a figurative factory, making the same exact dress over and over and over and over again. It may have been what the customer wanted, but it wasn't what Rarity wanted to make. And creativity needs to be free to be spontaneous, inventive, and needs to break boundaries. It also needs the space to improve in quality and skill. If you find yourself making the same thing over and over simply to get results, this is when passion begins to die and it just becomes another day at the office. This is what Cheese is going through. No longer having the connection with his clients, he also loses the connection to gags and why he loved making ponies laugh in the first place. If Pinkie loves to see ponies smile, Cheese loves to see ponies react to his gags and to see them laugh.
I agree. Anyway, while Pinkie tries to reinvigorate Cheese, I think it's time to go more in depth with the comedy in this episode, because not only do most of the jokes hit at home, they're inventive. All these crazy weird gags at the factory with their unexpected nature and humorous outcome really sell how funny this episode is. Even Pinkie herself was at peak performance here. It's difficult to write the manic party pony funny and not being annoying, but this episode truly nailed her oddball personality without grating on the audience with forced humor. Like, one of my favorite scenes early on is with Pinkie exploring the factory.
Maybe the fun is behind all this boring-looking factory stuff.
It's so out of nowhere, you can't just help but laugh. And like I said, it's that level of humor that remains constant throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, because health and safety regulations are not really a thing in MLP, especially when it comes to automated factory lines like this. Like any Pinkie Pie episode, the comedy can either be internalized, like with the episode Friend Indeed, but it's never really usually at the expense of another character, at least not intentionally.
Now, as far as the solution to Cheese's problem goes, it is kinda obvious, but still relatable and realistic. When one is so far lost, the simplest solution seems impossible, which is why Pinkie was there to help him by offering that outsider perspective. And that's what it takes sometimes, is for another to provide a different angle to fix a problem. Likewise, Pinkie's predicament was also obvious, but again realistic. Her fear of not moving up in the world blinded her and didn't see the solution right before her, and helping Cheese opened her eyes. And in the end, it's best not to compare your successes to your friends, as they have different paths than you, and by trying to achieve or follow a similar road, you'll most likely be chasing something you're not meant for. Find happiness and balance in your passion, and you will be fulfilled.
Pinkie made Cheese smile again, and in doing so, by extension, made hundreds, if not thousands, also smile as a result. It shows that even if your calling is small in comparison to others, or at least in our own eyes, we usually don't know how wide our circle of influence actually reaches. I'm pretty sure Pinkie Pie is able to influence and reach more ponies than any other member of the main six.
And finally, because Weird Al is involved, we can't escape this episode without a musical number, and it was fantastic.
Squirting flowers and nominees, rubber chickens and dungarees. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese.
The lyrics were creative, the music was catchy and upbeat, and the visuals were packed with weird or funny imagery, making this sequence one of the highlights of this episode.
Yeah, you can't have a Weird Al episode without a Weird Al song. I find this one is more singable than the Goof Off song in Pinkie Pride, but the visuals are nowhere near as inventive or fun. If you want laughter, then stick with cheese, unless you're lactose intolerant. Joke.
Ow! Why did you hit me?
Well, my gavel is enchanted to hit some pony when they make a bad joke. But as a safety precaution, it's enchanted so it can never hit a lady.
Hey, that's sexist! Wait. Never mind.
Oh, why? Alright, let's wrap this up.
Aw, do you need a band-aid?
Oh, be quiet. As for the last laugh, it was definitely one of the best episodes of the season. It had a lot of great relatable morals and themes. The writing brought out lots of emotional and comedic moments, with both Pinkie and Cheese gaining some great character development. All in all, a fantastic episode that brought in a ton of inventive material to a rather simple slice of life plot.
Yeah, it was predictable, and the moral was painfully obvious, but the themes it dealt with were actually deeper than I was expecting. Without going too overdramatic with the implied themes, the episode was a fun watch, even with some of the melancholic undertones. Yeah, it could have been funnier, but I feel we didn't really need the whole plot line of Pinkie trying to find her purpose either. I felt that belonged in a different episode. Other than that, this is probably one of my personal favourite episodes from season 9. But then again, Pinkie Pie is best pony.
Seems the teleporter is powered up and ready to go.
Brilliant. Hopefully Mary Sue has come to her senses by now. Who am I kidding? Actually, do I really want to be sent back to her?
We could always review the original MLP movie from 1986.
No, anything but that, please. just send me home.
Another successful review. Unfortunately, I didn't get my pizza, and things didn't go quite to plan, but in the end, I guess it just goes to show that sometimes there's always gonna be a silver lining and everything's just gonna go your way, and that... Where do all these disco balls keep coming from?
Lonely. I'm so lonely. And I miss Maddie. Oh, where did she go? You're back! Yay! I missed you so much! I'm sorry I said you should disappear. Didn't think that would actually happen.
It's cool, Mary. I'm back now. That's the important thing.
And as an apology, I have a surprise for you. Look! I decorated your background. What do you think? Uh-oh.
Mary Sue!